Good evening humans, Tyrannosaurusmoth here, and tonight we're taking a look at the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Astronema and Ecliptor 2-pack from Hasbro. I love in space. This was a great approach to take for a 2-pack, and yeah, it really delivers. So let's take a look at it. Let's do this. When it comes to aesthetics, we have a lot of great stuff here, and yeah, there's a lot to get into, so let's not waste any time, and we'll start off with the figure we've technically seen before. However, this is such a different version that is definitely feels like a new figure, which again, like definitely commend Hasbro for really like bringing it out for this 2-pack. And so I have the original release of Astronema here, and just here you can see that for the bodysuit with that kind of silver piece in the middle where it's just printed on with the original release, here we get all sculpt and that like nice brilliant silver finish. Same with the gauntlets, which are these same sculpt, however just painted slightly differently. We get more of that kind of dull gray here where it's bright silver here. However, the middle bands are not painted in a darker color, but I mean that's minimal to say the least. Beyond that, we get a new head sculpt and more of a kind of smirking, smiling face with the purple hair, where we had the just kind of more stoic face with the blue hair here, and both look fantastic. I really like the way they've been kind of making Astronema work in this line. We also get the necklace instead of the armor here. And yeah, I honestly can't decide which one I like better. Other than that, it's just a black bodysuit, but it all works really well. Sculpt is great. And yeah, just fantastically done. So that is Astronema. And then we move on to Ecliptor. And let's see if I get Astronema to stand here. There we go. So for Ecliptor, just really well done. Obviously all original sculpt. It looks great. I think they did I think they approached the lines, the green lines, very, very tastefully. Obviously they weren't going to do the full thing. It's just like that would have been way too expensive to do. I mean, consider that each paint stroke is money. So in this case, like I think they just chose the right thing. They even painted the back. So expertly done. I mean, if you are so inclined artistically, you can definitely improve that and fill in the rest of the lines. I saw someone do that online, or someone that had done that online recently, and it looked fantastic. But as it stands, I think this looks great. All the sculpt looks absolutely phenomenal. All the lines are super cleanly done as well. So that's great. Even this hip piece, like just really well done with a little bit of blue and red wires. So also nice shade of gold on the like little bracelets here. So yeah, just really, really well done. I am super excited for the red version of this. I believe it's supposed to be a Target exclusive at some point. So yeah, aesthetics are great. For accessories, we get a really cool loadout for this set. And yeah, so let's dive right into it. We're gonna start with Astronema, just because she doesn't come with as much. And starting off, we get these just gripping hands, just like we saw with the original release. Some nice sculpt on the back of the hand as well. So that looks really cool. And then we got 2 fists. So same thing, that same sculpt on the back of the hand, and just a fist. So, and left hand, right, of course. Then we get into weapons. So we have this little boomerang style piece, just a little bit of gold paint. Looks great. Again, just like we got with the original release. And same for the spear, painted in the exact same way as well with the reds and golds. Looks very, very nice. Good sculpt, augmented with really nice and crisp paint. So can't ask for more than that, really. And then we get into her effect piece, which is this fantastic, just purple electric piece. I love the shape of it. It's got kind of like a diamond sort of look going on. And there's just lots of options as to how you can attach that to the spear. So that's really cool. And then we move on to Ecliptor, and I guess we'll start off with his hands, because that will segue into effects pieces, as you'll see in a second. So we get a left fist and a right gripping hand for the sword. Really well done. And then we get a right fist without paint on the knuckles, which is a really weird choice. It's kind of weird that they just kind of ran out of it there, and it's definitely more noticeable having seen the rest of the hands. And then we get the same for the left hand, where we get, it's kind of a extra hand and effect piece where we get that electricity coming out, not dissimilar to what we got with the Psycho Rangers. And yeah, same thing, like no green on the knuckles, it's just kind of there with the effects piece. So again, I understand why they would do that. So yeah, so then we get that. It looks awesome, like that sculpt is great. Then we move on to an effects piece we've seen before. This actually came with Drakon 2, that exclusive. And I think, as I stated in that review, not really the biggest fan of this piece, but you know, it definitely serves its purpose. Like a lot of options there, and you know, I know I'm probably going to change my mind once I start taking some pictures with it. And definitely cast in a better color plastic that won't, I think, react to other colors of light at quite as much. Then we get this spiraling, fiery purple piece to go over the sword, and really love this. Obviously love the color purple, and just I love fire effects, so this is great. Definitely approve of that. Great sculpt as well. And then finally we get his sword, and this is really, really well done. Lots of paint, lots of a detail that just, like, both the metallics, the gold and the silver, just are resilient, and just love looking at that, and a couple of red dots which really pop. So yeah, fantastic accessories in this set. When it comes to articulation, as you can see right now, both have great balance, which is always a good thing. And beyond that, lots of good stuff. So we'll start off once again with Astronema, because again, we've seen the figure before in a different form. So, you know, they're basically on the standard female buck for Lightning Collection, but for the head, because of that hair sculpt, just, you're really not gonna get too much. So like literally nothing up, because again, you just got resistance. In terms of coming down, definitely a little bit better, but you're gonna be fighting against the front of the hair. Not really any tilt either. So, you know, more or less just swivel for the head. Coming to the shoulders, we do have butterfly joints. Mine are a little stuck at the moment. Let's try the right side. So we get a little more range there. As you can see, I gotta work that out a little bit more, but definitely good range. And we're coming up on a hinge with the arm, coming up just to our T, and no bicep swivel, because we are single jointed at the elbows, and that is where we're gonna get that swivel. Then we have hinge and swivel at the wrists, all horizontal for the hands. We have our ball joint and the diaphragm, so we're coming all the way around, and we combine that with the ab crunch we have at the waist. So come about that far forward, about that far back. We're also getting our rotation from the diaphragm. We come down to the hips, and almost full splits, fantastic range. Then we have thigh cut, double jointed knees bringing us to there. We do not have boot cut, however, and I like this 2-pack's actually a great example of this, that for both larger and smaller figures that don't have boots, we get ankle cut. So we can get our swivel there. Pardon my lack of focus here. Then we get fantastic point, get some pretty great forward, and ankle rocker. So that is Astronema. And once again, get her to stand over here somewhat awkwardly. And moving on to Ecliptor, and our head is on a brawl hinge. So we're going to look up about that high, a little bit more of a cut in the back, probably would have gotten us some more range. Then we can look down about that much, and even get some tilt, because we got some room under that head sculpt, which is very, very nice. Then we come to the arms, and I think we do have a little bit of, maybe not, of a butterfly joint, but we can come up to our T-pose, I believe. There we go. Because these pieces are soft rubber and they do move. Then we get biceps swivel. We get double jointed elbows folding to about there. We get hinge and swivel at the wrist, all horizontal with the exception of this one weapon holding hand, which makes sense, and that's what we like to see. Then we get a ball joint at a diaphragm, as we do. Same thing with the ab crunch at the waist. So we're getting some real nice forward with Ecliptor, and some fantastic back. And we're also getting a rotation from that ball joint there. Mine was clicking before, oh, there we go. So you can hear that clicking, so be careful of that. Then we get fantastic splits. All the large characters in Lightning Collection seem to have that. We get our bicep swivel, our thigh swivel. Then we get our double jointed knees bringing us to there. And as I just said, we get ankle swivel as opposed to boot swivel. Again, pardon the focus. Then we get fantastic point, absolutely splendid forward, and insane rocker. So that is Articulation. Getting into size comparisons, here they are with some other Lightning Collection, with some other Hasbro, with some imports, with some monsters. Finally, with an Articulated Icons Oni, and yours truly in human form as an Articulated Icons Ninja. So my final thoughts on the Lightning Collection Astronema and Ecliptor 2-pack from Hasbro is that this is a fantastic set, and honestly, I think it's almost an ideal 2-pack because you have a new figure with completely original sculpt and paint and all that, and then another version of a figure that we had already gotten with actually some new sculpt, paint, and everything. Honestly, there's a lot of new stuff here, especially because they could have gone full-on reuse with Astronema to a degree, and they didn't. They added all that sculpt, which was absolutely just a fantastic touch. Obviously the head was going to be new, and Astronema has a ton of looks throughout the series, so it makes sense that they're going to try to find ways to release those variants in the most sensical way possible, and I think this definitely fits that. So absolutely pick this up if you are a fan of Power Rangers in space in particular, or Astronema or Ecliptor specifically, and I will include links in the description below for where you can pick up yours, so please check those out. And with that being said, I hope you found this review informative and somewhat entertaining, and if you did, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and or sharing. And if you want to take it to the next step, I will also have those ways listed in the description as well. So please check those out. And one last time, ultra thanks to you for watching. I hope you take care of yourself, take care of those around you, and most importantly, stay weird, simians.